Peace and blessings. Welcome back to the channel once again, where we talk all things health and healing from a holistic perspective, and today will be no different. Today we're going to talk about a condition known as tinnitus or tinnitus, commonly referred to. Okay, tinnitus is this condition where you have a perception of sound in the ear, but there's no external noise coming to actually create the sound, which means that you're simply perceiving the noise. Okay, it's commonly referred to as ringing in the ears. Okay, and it also could lead to a person losing their hearing. Okay, or a condition known as vertigo, where they feel like they're losing their balance, they're spinning, they're dizzy. They can even get nauseous as well too. And let me explain why that could happen. The ear has two parts. The first part is the cochlea. Okay, that is where we actually get our hearing from. Okay, that's the function of that part. And then you have the vestibular, and that portion is where we get our balance from. This is why when people have hearing issues, they typically will also have balance issues as well too. Okay, now when you're having this issue of tinnitus or ringing in the ears, what you will experience is ringing, hissing, buzzing, chirping, whistling, roaring, even clicking in your ears again. And there's no external noise. You're literally creating this in your ear. And we'll talk about some of the reasons why you're creating this sort of ringing in the ears in a second. But here's the cool thing. By the end of this video, I'm going to give you a method that you can literally get rid of this ringing in the ears in 30 seconds. So just hold tight, but you got to know the cause, because if you don't know the cause, you can't address the real issue. Okay, and you'll be out there just simply trying to treat the symptoms, because unfortunately that's all we have in modern medicine is treatments that treat the symptoms but don't address the cause. So the method that I'm going to give you may not work because you're not addressing the cause. Okay, now what it will do is remove the ringing for a second for you to give you some temporary relief, but it won't address the real issue. Okay, so we got to go through the causes first. Okay, so cause number one is a buildup of wax in the ear. Okay, when you start to have, you're walking around and wax is just coming out of the ear, or you clean your ears out and you notice that there's a ton of wax in your ear all the time, it could be causing that ringing in the ears that you're having a problem with. Okay, so that definitely needs to be addressed. Okay, number two, vitamin B12 deficiency. And I need to do an entire video on this, because people have this perception about vitamin B12 that, people who are plant-based or vegan are the only ones who have issues with vitamin B12. But I'll tell you, just from working in the hospitals, I've handed out hundreds of thousands of prescriptions. And I'll tell you, the vast majority of prescriptions that I gave to people who had vitamin B12 deficiency when I was working in the hospital, those people ate meat. Okay, so the truth of the matter is, it's not really an issue of meat, because vitamin B12 actually comes from a bacteria. Okay, a bacteria in the soil. Okay, so if you eat certain plants, things of that nature, you can get your vitamin B12. But here's the issue. If you don't have enough stomach acid, you won't have enough stomach acid to cleave off of R protein that is on the vitamin B12, which means that you won't be able to actually absorb it. So you could actually be getting enough in your diet, but the unfortunate thing, because your stomach acid is too low, you won't be able to absorb it. Okay, that's a whole video in and of itself, but it's important to know and understand that, because a lot of people, again, are addressing the symptom without addressing the cause, which means that they're in this constant cycle. Okay, so even if you're giving yourself a synthetic form of vitamin B12, it doesn't mean that you're really correcting the issue if you have to take this every month for every day of your for the rest of your life. Okay, so vitamin B12 issue number two. Number three, loud music. So a lot of people who are in the music industry, have to go to concerts all the time, and they like to sit right there by the speaker. This also could cause either temporary or chronic tinnitus or ringing in the ears as well too. Okay, so are people who go to the gym and they got the headphones on and they're blaring them, for an hour and a half, 2 hours, that also can cause the condition as well too. So you want to turn your music down, stay away from the speaker at the concert, etc., to make sure you keep your hearing. Okay. Number four, iodine deficiency. Iodine deficiency could also cause you to have this ringing in the ears as well too. And this is why I'm always telling people to eat their sea vegetables, okay? Me, as you guys know, on my website, I have the Irish sea moss. So that's part of my regimen where I'm consuming the Irish sea moss because I'm getting minerals that are only in the sea that are no longer in the soil anymore. So that sort of rounds out my diet, makes it very diverse, and makes it complete as well too from the things that I don't get from the soil because of how the soil through algal culture over the last 50, 60 years has been sort of tearing the soil apart and making it dead. Okay, so iodine. Number 5, a busted eardrum. Okay, now that goes without saying. You could have a busted eardrum, and it could be coming from you using these Q-tips that you're putting in your ear and digging in there too deeply. And you could have busted your eardrum, and that could be causing the ringing in the ear as well. Another deficiency that could cause the condition is anemia. So you definitely have to address the iron deficiency as well too. And this is what I'm trying to help people understand is that when you have low iron or any other deficiency, it is affecting every part of your biology. It is not just affecting the fact that you have low iron, it can affect everything in your body. One thing can throw everything off. So this is why I'm always telling people it's so important to correct the deficiencies, okay? Because even an iron deficiency by itself, you think about the typical symptoms where you're feeling cold all the time, you're feeling fatigued, but nobody thinks about that ringing in the ear that it could be causing as well too. Okay, also inner and middle ear infections. Okay, you could have an infection that you don't know about in your inner or middle ear, and that could be causing your issue as well. Okay, another thing is thyroid dysfunction in the form of hypothyroidism, where you're not producing enough thyroid stimulating hormone, and so as a result, that actually could lead to you creating ringing in the ears as well too. And I always tell people, especially if it's Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune condition, that always starts with the gut. Okay, and I know I say that, and a lot of my colleagues are like, how the hell does the gut have anything to do with an autoimmune condition? But you have to understand how the gut and the immune system is set up, and you will know then that they're intimately connected. Okay, somewhere around 80% of our immune system is made and manufactured in the gut. Okay, so it makes sense when you have an autoimmune condition that is actually attacking you, your immune system that is designed to defend you is attacking you. It makes sense that if 80% of it is made in the gut, is possibly that you have a gut issue. Okay, another issue could be TMJ syndrome. Okay, when you have that issue with your joint in your jaw, that also can lead to the condition as well too. There's also a condition known as acoustic neuroma. Okay, you could have that condition as well too, and I think your doctor would probably have to give you an MRI to kind of see that, but that could be the issue as well too. And then these are a lot of them all in one, but medications. A lot of the medications could actually cause you to have ringing in the ears, and a lot of these side effects are listed when you before you take the drug. They'll say this is listed as a possible side effect. So beta blockers used for blood pressure, isotretinoin that they use for acne, antidepressants, NSAIDs used for pain, diuretics that they use for blood pressure, or aka the water pill as well too. Antibiotics, cancer drugs, and even PPIs that we use for acid reflux can cause ringing in the ears as well too. So it's so important you know and understand these are just a few of the potential causes that could be creating the ringing in the ears. And now what we're going to get into is some of the natural solutions. Okay, so the big tip, one of the biggest tips, especially around your diet, because I tell people the vast majority of how we're creating dysfunction and dis-ease in our bodies are through our diets, okay? And one of the major ways that we could be contributing to this ringing in the ears is by causing insulin resistance, or we have to make sure that our insulin levels are down. And how do we do that? We need to make sure that we're not always eating all these refined carbohydrates in the form of breads, cookies, cakes, pies, etc. Okay, and so we want to stay away from these refined carbohydrates, and that way we can keep our blood sugars normal and we can keep our insulin levels low. Okay, the other big tip is you can run a fan in the background to sort of get some background noise. Okay, that can help as well too. They also have what are called sound machines, and these sound machines are giving off what is called white noise. And that can it's basically a distraction, not a real solution, but it's a distraction to the ringing that is happening in your ears. And then the final one that could literally stop the ringing in your ears in 30 seconds. And the reason why I'm saying 30 seconds is because I've had 3 or 4 people that I've met and I had them do this and it helped them out within 30 seconds. I told them on the spot, maybe I was at an event or out at the grocery store, and I told them and walked away from them and told them to do this 3 to 4 times. And voila, they found me in the grocery store, found me at the event and said, look, it went away. So hopefully this will help you as well too. Now, this is called the tinnitus maneuver, okay, or tinnitus, okay? And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the affected ear, whether it's one or both. You're gonna take the affected ear, grab it by the index finger and the thumb. And what you're gonna do is do a up and away motion, okay? Up and away motion. So you're gonna go up and away, up and away, up and away, up and away, up and away. You wanna do that 5 to 10 times, okay? Then if you have the other ear, do that one as well too. Up and away, 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 up and away. And you want to do that for 3 to 4 times, okay? 3 to 4 times you do that. Now, what's important is you don't have to do it hard, okay? You just have to do it enough. But you do have to do it quick. So up and away, 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 okay? By grabbing the lobe of the ear, okay? And you want to make sure, it goes without saying, if you have any hardware in your ear, you remove that hardware from the ear, whether it be earrings or whatever it is you have in your ear. And I want you to let me know in the comments if this in combination with all of the causes that I mentioned before help you with this issue. Okay, so let me know in the comments whether you used this before in the past or you just took my advice from this video and it gave you a little bit of an understanding, because I know, like, going into the doctors quite often, there's no solution for anybody to really address this problem. Thanks for watching this video, but be sure to check the next video out that's right here. But everything I talk about is how do we take a holistic and natural approach to healing other than a man-made approach? And also, how do we prevent dis-ease in the body as well too? Because, you know, they say